I'm Jaymee Gibson with BrokerWorks Real Estate Group in Northwest Indiana, and today let's talk about money. What kind of money? How much money you need to bring to the closing table, how much money you can expect to spend when purchasing a house, how much money is involved in the real estate transaction. I'm sure you've heard you can buy a house for pennies, and then other people might tell you like, oh, it started real low, but then it got higher and higher and higher. You're torn, you don't know what to expect, so let's get into it. So when you are buying a house and you determine this is the property that I want, the first number that you should consider is the down payment. So let's say there's a house that costs $100,000. The average down payment required is 3.5% of the purchase price. So if you take 3.5% of $100,000, that's $3,500 that you should put in mind that I need this amount as a down payment. Yes, there will be down payment assistance programs that you may qualify for, or grants that you may qualify based on the career field that you're in, the neighborhood that you live in. But in the event that you have no outside assistance, that $3,500 or that 3.5% of the purchase price, that is what you will need to have put away for your down payment, okay? The down payment amount, it fluctuates depending on the type of program that you qualify for. There are programs that require you to put down 0. There are programs that will allow you to put down 3%, but the standard is usually about 3.5%. And of course, you can always put down more. That is just the minimum that's required. Now, keep in mind, if you do put down more towards your down payment, then you will qualify for a lower interest rate. So instead of waiting for the current market rate to decrease and constantly sitting on the sideline waiting for market rate to come down to something that you and millions of other people are waiting for, and then now you got to be in a bidding war. If you decide, if you are in a position that you can afford to put down more money, you will have a lower interest rate. The lender, they are taking a risk in loaning you this money. Yes, you can have great credit, an amazing FICO score, but you still qualify for this interest rate because it's still a risky situation. The lender is giving you they're loaning you hundreds and thousands of dollars. So if you're able to up the ante and pretty much put your money where your mouth is, then the lender is willing to play ball with you, and they'll take a chance and drop that rate sum, which will allow you to, afford more house, have a better mortgage payment that you're paying. But I digress. So the down payment, that's money that you're going to put to the side. So we're already at $3,500 that we have saved up on a loan that is $100,000. What else do we need to take into consideration? We're going to get into the closing costs. What are closing costs? These are your transactional fees, the fees that's associated with you completing this purchase. You have title fees, you have lender fees. These are the, this is typically about 3 to 5% of the purchase price. So again, we're just gonna say that's about $3,000. If you wanna say $5,000 just because it helps you sleep at night and you're like, oh, I gotta put $5,000 to the side instead of $3,000. Do that. For this example, we're gonna do $3,000. Again, your closing cost is about 3% of the purchase price. That 3% off of that $100,000, that's another $3,000. So that plus the $3,500, we're at $6,500 that you need to have tucked away. Now those closing costs, I will do another video breaking those down, but like I said, those are your lender fees, your title fees. If you paid an earnest deposit, which usually you would, that's going to be on there. You pay that up front. It's going to be deducted from your final balance at the closing table. Prior to closing, you will receive a settlement statement from the lender, which will break down all of your credits and your debits. It'll tell you money that's given to you from the seller side of the transaction, as well as any money that you paid up front. You're going to see everything itemized, and it'll be one final number at the bottom of that statement, so that you know how much you have to bring to closing, everything that was paid out from you, everything that was paid to you from the other party. Also, just going into the fees that are paid up front, such as the cost of an appraisal, the cost of a home inspection. If you end up getting any additional inspections done to the property, such as mold and pest inspections and radon inspections, those are fees that you have to pay up front out of your pocket, unless your agent negotiates something with the seller and they agree to pay for these inspections. I do not suggest you waiving an inspection, no matter how good of a condition the property appears to be in. Do not waive an inspection. You're going to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on a property, and you're not going to spend a few $100s just to get the property inspected to make sure that it's in standard condition for you. That don't make sense. At the very least, you can have an inspection done, and if you decide that you do not want to move forward with that property, then it was just a few $100s that was not wasted. It was an investment, but it was a few $100s that you spent, and now you can move on to another property, and hopefully you have the inspection done, everything come back good, or it's a situation that's able to be remedied between you and the seller, and you're able to live happily ever after in your home and just dealing with the everyday wear and tear, opposed to buying a property with somebody else's issues that cost you thousands of dollars eventually. But moving on to more of the fees associated with purchasing a home. You also have your insurance, and I got ahead of myself going into the closing costs so fast. But let's look at your insurance. You would have to pay mortgage insurance if you put down less than 20% on a property. This is broken down and rolled into your monthly mortgage payment, but that is another expense that you will see. There is also homeowners insurance. Same thing is rolled into your monthly mortgage payment. And you can't get out of having homeowners insurance like you can with mortgage insurance. You put down more money, you don't gotta pay mortgage insurance. They trust you because you invested so much money into this property. They trust that you're gonna uphold your end of the bargain. With homeowners insurance, it's a requirement. Now, what's not a requirement is a home warranty, but it does offer you peace of mind. A lot of sellers do offer home warranties with the property, and they usually pay for that, so that's not an expense that you have to incur. But typically, that's it. Well, I lied already. The fees from your agent, and if they have any transaction fees, you want to add that to the list. So if your agent charges 2%, again, off that $100,000, That's $2,000 to add to our list that we're building up. I hope y'all keeping track. So we got the down payment. We got the down payment at 3.5%. We got the closing costs at 3%. Your agent fees at 2%. Any transaction fees, I'm seeing on average maybe about $400 for the transaction fee. So you take that. We got what's that? 3,500 plus another 30. Let me see. 3,500, 6,500, 8,500 plus that 400 transaction fee. So $8,900 that you need to have just tucked away, put in the savings account. Depending on the property that you are buying, definitely look into loan programs available or down payment assistance grants that could be available to you. Speak to your HR at your company and find out if there's any programs that they will, that they have, that they're a part of to help you save money on this purchase. Don't just think, oh, now I gotta find $10,000. It's not usually how it goes. And you can always take into consideration that one, there's down payment assistance to help out with these costs, and then there's also the seller, which not all the time, but in some cases, especially if they really need to sell their property and it's just sitting on the market, they will offer you an incentive, aka concessions, to help out with the cost. Depending on the type of loan that you qualify for, you can get up to 6%, I believe that's the highest, 6% of that loan amount towards your, you can get up to 6% of that loan amount and as a credit from the seller to you that goes towards your closing costs and prepaids and all that jazz. So if you got this sitting balance of $8,900 and then the seller gives you a credit of $6,000, well, guess what? This 89 is now down to, I don't know why I can't count right now, but I'm just gonna go on good faith and say that we're at that we're at 2,400. So they gave you $6,000, now you only gotta pay $2,400, and at the very least, if they're not willing to give you that full 6% and a credit, if the lender won't allow it, then hopefully you could meet somewhere between that 2,400 and that 80. These so many numbers at this point. That $8,000. So it's not the end all be all. Always shop around. Talk to multiple interview multiple agents before you decide that you want to hire this person to represent you in this transaction. Interview multiple lenders. Interview different home inspectors. You definitely want to shop around, see where you can get the most bang for your buck. I know how it goes. Nobody wants to be that one person who had that bad experience with someone. I know we all sit on Google and read through these company reviews like nobody business, and we always come across that one who had a bad experience, and we don't want to be that one. But then guess what? You go to the next person and you see they got 14 bad experiences, and then the next company got 20 bad experiences, and you're like, you know what? Well, I'm gonna circle back to this person because it's a lesser chance that I'm gonna be that one opposed to the one that had 14 or 20. So that is a summary of what you can expect to spend when you are purchasing a house. Hope that answered the questions that's going on in your mind. If not, feel free to reach out to me. I will leave my contact information in the description. Have a wonderful day. I'm Jaymee Gibson with BrokerWorks Real Estate Group in Northwest Indiana, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.